Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. Twisdale here to teach you lesson 11.6. We're working on the volume of rectangular prisms. Your objective today is I can use the formula volume equals length times width times height to find the volume of a rectangular prism, even if there are fractions. Now I know fractions can be a little intimidating, but you guys can do it. Here, Mr. Twisdale wanted to say hi real quick.
Hey guys!
Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, your first thing you're going to take in your notes is I want you to draw this graphic organizer and put in the center of it volume. And we've talked a little bit about volume. We've talked about how when we're listing volume, we list it in cubics or inches cubed to the power of 3. So that's called cubic units. See if you can think of anything else that we've talked about with volume. You can look back at your notes from 11.5 if that will help you. Take a minute to fill in this graphic organizer and then push play and I'll give you some ideas of what I had. Alright, so some of the ideas that I had, and you don't have to have the same ones, is I could put something like length, because that's one thing I use when I talk about volume. I also talk about width. Oops, that was supposed to be an I, that was weird. And I talk about height. And another word that I think of is capacity, or how much it can hold, is the volume of a shape or a box or an object. So those are some of the words I thought of. I'm sure your words are just great as well. Just be thinking about words that mean or that have to do with volume. Okay, here's our first example for today. Now remember, we're looking at rectangular prisms, so pretty much boxes. We have a picture here. Whoops, that was supposed to be my laser pointer. A bento box, which is what this is a picture of, is commonly used to serve food in Japan. So this is a box that they use, like if you went to a restaurant, they would serve you your food in a box like this if you were in Japan. The small box is 5 inches long, 4 inches wide, and 2.5 inches high. How much food can fit in the box? Okay, we're looking this key words here. How much food can fit in the box is what we're talking volume. Now, write down this story problem in your book, and then, once you have that, I want you to underline the sentence that says what you need to find. You're going to have to pause the video so you can take a couple minutes to do this. But once you have completed that, go ahead and underline the sentence and then circle the numbers that you're going to be using to find what you need to find. Okay. This is what I decided I needed to find. I needed to find how much can fit in the box, which means I need to find the volume. The numbers I will use are 5 inches, 4 inches, and 2.5 inches. Okay? Now there's 3 steps to this process. First of all, we're going to sketch the box. Next, we'll identify the variables that go in our formula. Then we'll solve the formula. Okay? So, make sure you have all that written down, and then I'm going to skip to the next slide where it has a little bit more space for me to work. If you need to pause the video now, that would be a great choice. Okay, so step 1, you want to sketch the box. It's not going to be to scale, but it'll look something like this box I've drawn over here. Okay, I didn't draw it. I pulled it from the internet. But you know what I mean. Okay, so here we have the box. Now this would be, the top would be open, and you'd put the food in here, right? You put your cabbage and your chicken, your lettuce, your sushi, whatever you're eating from your bento box. You'd put it all in the inside here. Now we need to identify our variables. We need to know what our length is. Our length, if you go back to your story problem, it said it was 5 inches long. So our length is 5 inches. Our width, it was 4 inches wide. And our height, or how tall it is 2.5 inches. So I went ahead and I first sketched the box, then I identified the variables. Last, I need to solve the formula. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my formula here. I'm looking for the volume. I have my length, which is 5. Now remember, if there's no symbols here, we are going to multiply times 4 times 2.5. Now I'm going to take 5 times 4 first and multiply that because that gives me 20. Then I'm going to multiply that by 2.5. Now remember, I'm going to change this to a mixed number. The way I would do that is 2 times 2 plus 1. So 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 halves. I'm going to times it by 20 over 1. Looks like I can go ahead and do some, what's that called? Cross canceling. 2 goes into 20 10 times. 2 goes into 2 1 time. 1 times 5 is 50. Or sorry, 10 times 5 is 50. 1 times 1 is 1. So it looks like you could fit 50 inches cubed into the box. And that would be your answer. So just a short review. We sketched the box. Well, it was already drawn for us, but I'm sure you sketched it in your notebook too, or you won't get credit. We identified our variables. We identified our length, our width, and our height. We knew that we needed to solve for V, our volume. We just plugged it in and solved the formula. And when I found a fraction, I did not multiply the whole number first. Remember, I did change all of it to an improper fraction and multiplied fractions as normal. Okay? If you have any questions, please raise your hand and ask the teacher. Okay, boys and girls, for this example, if you wanted to, you could find it in your textbook, but I pulled this piece from the textbook online because I thought it was a really good example. So, first of all, we're looking to find the volume of the prism. So taking a look at our prism here, and we're going to go to our steps. First, we need to identify the value of each variable. Now the height, or how tall our box is, our prism, is in inches. So take a look here. Find the number that has inches next to it. And hopefully you found the height is 2 1/4 inches. So I'm going to write that in here. Now the area of the base B. Now that means looking at the bottom of the box. They already solved the area because see how this is inches squared? It's not just regular inches, but it is already squared. So the area of the bottom is 9 inches squared. So they already found the area for you, which is length times width, or base times height. So they already did this, length times width, and called it capital B, so, or the base B. So now in our formula, they've replaced the length times width with the capital B. So we're going to replace B with 9 and H with 2 1/4. See if I can write this small. 9 times 2 1/4. Now just estimating, if I do 9 times 2, my estimate's going to be greater than 18. Okay, that's just an estimate over here. My answer should be greater than 18. So, write the mixed number as a fraction greater than 1 or an improper fraction. So my 9 stays the same. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So now I have 9 times 9 over 4, which is 81 over 4. And when I divide that back in, 4 goes into 8 twice. 4 doesn't go into 1, so it's 20 and 1/4. So my answer is 20. The volume of the prism is 20 and 1/4 inches cubed. Right there is where I got my answer. Okay? So, if you have any questions on that, please pause and ask me. But you'll notice that my estimate was greater than 18 and I got an answer of 20 plus a little bit. So that makes sense. That's a reasonable answer. One thing when you're working with fractions on volume, estimating before you solve is always a good strategy. Right problem for you? Oh no, another example problem. So sometimes you'll get the volume of a cube. So the formula for volume of a cube is volume equals s cubed, or sides cubed. So we would take one of the sides, which on a cube, remember they'll all be the same. So in this cube, all of them are 3 1/2. we're going to take one of them and cube it, or multiply it by itself 3 times. So if I have 3.5 cubed, remember that's going to be 3.5 times 3.5, oops, times 3.5. So just estimating this, my answer is going to be, oh, my pen is not working very well today. 3 times 3 would give me 9 times 3. 9 times 3 would give me 27. So my answer is going to be greater than 27. Okay? That's my estimate. So let's go ahead and solve this. I'm going to switch these over to improper fractions first. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7/2. And that's going to be the same for all of them. Oops. Okay. Now 7 times 7 is 49. And 49 times 7, I don't know what that is. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. 343. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So I have 343 eighths. Obviously, I don't want to leave it as such. So I'm going to go ahead and put this number back in. 8 goes into 34 4 times. 8 goes into 23 twice. And that would be 42 and 7/8. Okay, and then I would put it back into the volume equals 42 and 7/8 feet cubed. Alright, and you will have a couple of cubed problems that you need to work on your homework and in your tasks, so make sure that you feel comfortable with that. And really, it's not that much different. It is just the length times the width times the height. They're just all the same number. So it's not any different. Don't let it confuse you, okay? Okay, here's your first try it problem. And make sure that you are writing down and drawing these pictures because you're creating your own textbook in your notebook. Remember that. So your goal is to find the volume using the formula volume equals the length times the width times the height. So take your length. Actually, this would probably be the length. Maybe the height. Doesn't really matter too much. Length, width, and height. And multiply all of those together. I'm going to stop there because I want you to try it on your own. Pause the video and try it on your own. Alright, so let's go ahead and solve this problem. Just to even estimate before we start, I'm just looking at my numbers. And if I have my length of 6 times my width of 5 1/4 times my height of 9 1/2, even if I just estimate by multiplying these whole numbers, 6 times 5 would give me 30. Sorry, this is not very helpful. This is just an estimate. And 30 times 9 would give me 270. So even just estimating, it's going to be a pretty big number. Okay? Now that's not totally done. I'm sorry, get rid of those. Oops. But estimating at 270, take a look at your answer now and think, ooh, was I maybe at least a little close, or do I need to pause and retry something? Okay, so I'm going to, first of all, switch to mixed numbers. So 6 over 1 times, 5 times 4 is 20 plus 1, oops, is 21/4, times 9 times 2 is 18 plus 1 is 19/2. Anything that I can cross-cancel, I can cross-cancel this here. There's 3 2's. There we go. I don't think I can cross-cancel anything else. So I need to do some multiplying. 3 times 21. Let's see. Abigail, shh. And I have 63. I still need to multiply that by 19. I'm just looking for my numerator right now. Sorry, Abigail just got a new toy. She was all excited. 6 times 9, 54, 55, 56. Okay, definitely some big numbers I'm working with here. I'm adding these together. 1197. And I'm going to pull this number down here. That's my numerator. My denominator, 1 times 4 times 1 is going to be 4. Now I need to divide 4 and see how many times it goes into this number here to get back to a mixed number. 4 goes into 11. I'm not going to have enough room for that, am I? Ah! Let's see, I'll make this a little smaller. Okay. 4 goes into 11 twice. That's 8. Gives me 3. Bring down my 9. 4 goes into 39 8 times. Oh, that's a lie. It goes 9 times, which would be 36. 3, bring down my 7, and it goes into 37 9 times. 36, 1 left over. That'll be my numerator. Denominator is 4. So 299 and 1/4. We're talking feet. And volume, remember, is cubed. Wow. Was it greater than our estimate of 270? Yes, which we knew it would be. So that's awesome. Almost 300 feet cubed in this volume, or the volume of this box here. I hope that this volume is not difficult for you. Just remember those fractions and multiplying them. That's probably the most difficult part. But it is a core concept that 6th graders need to know. So if you have questions, make sure you ask. Okay, pause your video and try this one. Now remember, they already gave you the area of this base. So now you're using volume equals base. Oops, that's supposed to be a capital B. The base times the height. So you'll just use these two numbers here. Go ahead and solve it on your own. All right, hopefully you've gone ahead and solved this problem. Just to help you with the answer real quick, if the volume equals the base, which is 2.5, times 2/3, I need to switch this to an improper fraction. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5, times 2/3. Cross cancel those. I have 5/3. 3 goes into 5. Let's see, 1 time with 2/3 left over. Is that right? Yeah. And that is yards cubed. Alright, so hopefully you got that one correct. Pretty simple. Let me just double check my math here. 2.5 times 2/3, 5/2 times 2/3. 5 cross cancel. I was just checking my work. 3 goes into 5 1 time with 2 left over. Yep, 1 2/3 yards. And it is cubed because we're talking volume. Okay, go ahead and solve this one. It's the area of a cube. You can do length times width times height, or you can do 3/8. 3/8 times 3/8. Go ahead and solve it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and solve it with you. So I'm going to take 3/8. Oops, where's my pen? There it is. 3/8 times 3/8 times 3/8. Now this is going to give you a weird answer, so I hope that you feel confident that you have a weird answer. So I'm going to take 3 times 3, make sure you're not adding these, which gives me 9. And then since I have another 3, I'm going to do 9 times 3, which gives me 27. That's my numerator. Okay, now my denominator, I'm going to do 8 times 8. Fast fact gives me 64. Now 64 times 8 is not as fast of a fact, but I'm going to solve it over here. 64 times 8. 8 times 4 is 32. 6 times 8 is 48, 49, 50, 51. So 512. And that becomes my denominator. Now because I didn't have any cross canceling, that means I am simplified as much as possible. So that is correct, and I even double checked with the book that 27,512 inches cubed is the correct answer. I know, it's a weird one, but it is correct. Okay, problem for you. Now this one's going to push your thinking a little bit. I'm pretty sure this one's on your homework. I can't remember for sure, but take a look at it. We have a cereal box, and it's a rectangular prism with a volume of 200 inches cubed. What did that say? The volume is 200 inches cubed. Well, haven't we been finding the volume? Well, they just told us what the volume was. Interesting. The box is 8 inches long and 2.5 inches wide. What is the height of the box? So first of all, copy the sentence into your notebook. Then you're going to underline the sentence that says what you need to find. Circle the numbers to use, and then plug things back into your formula and solve to find what it's asking you. Go ahead and try it on your own. I'm pretty sure you guys can do this. I bet you can. Go ahead and solve. Alright, so hopefully when you are solving this, you underline the sentence, what is the height of the box? You circled the number, your volume is 200, your length is 8, oops, I'm supposed to be circling, sorry, and your width is 2.5. So I'm going to write those variables to the side here. V equals 200, L, or length, equals 8, and width equals 2.5. Oh, there we go. My height is unknown. I don't know. So now I'm going to plug those into my formula. V has to stay on this side of the equal sign. My length is 8 times 2.5 times height. So if I take 8 times 2.5, that should give me a number. Let's see, 2.5 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 plus 1 is 5.5 times, whoa, that was a weird looking 2, times, sorry guys, I'm struggling, times 8 over 1, I can cross cancel these, looks like it's 20 over 1, or just 20, so then I have 20 times h equals, my 200 stays the same. Remember, now this is just algebra. Now you're just solving for h. So if I have 20 times h, and I need to get rid of 20, I do the inverse operation, which is divide by 20. Does this look familiar? But if I divide one side by 20, I divide the other side by 20. I'm trying to get h by itself, which these would cancel each other. 200 divided by 20, I just cross out these zeros. And it would give me 20 divided by 2. 2 goes into 20 10 times. So my height is 10 inches. Oh, that was a weird H. Okay. Now, if you have questions on how that problem worked, because it was a little bit backwards, it was a great review for algebra, please make sure you ask someone, either a teacher or an aide, to help you out with that. And that's all of our video for today. I hope you have a great day of learning, boys and girls. Thank you so much.